Do you know the role of faith in the beginning of World War II? Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress December 8, 1941, saying, "December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by the naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage. Lives have been lost. Ships have been reported torpedoed between San Francisco and Honolulu. The Japanese government also launched an attack against Malay, Hong Kong, Guam, Philippine Islands, Wake Island, and Midway Island. Our people, our territory, and our interests are in grave danger. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God." Franklin Roosevelt stated, January 6, 1942, "Japan's conquest goes back half a century. War against China in 1894, occupation of Korea, war against Russia in 1904, fortifications of the mandated Pacific Islands following 1920, seizure of Manchuria in 1931, invasion of China, 1937. In his State of the Union, January 6, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt stated, "Our enemies know that victory for us means victory for the institution of democracy, the ideal of the family, the simple principles of common decency and humanity. They know that victory for us means victory for religion, and they could not tolerate that. We must guard against complacency. We must not underrate the enemy. He is powerful and cunning and cruel and ruthless. He will stop at nothing that gives him a chance to kill and destroy. We are fighting to cleanse the world of ancient evils." Franklin Roosevelt continues, "Our enemies are guided by brutal cynicism, by unholy contempt for the human race. We are inspired by a faith that goes back through all the years to the first chapter of the book of Genesis. God created man in his own image. We, on our side, are striving to be true to that divine heritage. We are fighting, as our fathers have fought, to uphold the doctrine that all men are equal in the sight of God." On January 25, 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt wrote the prologue of a Gideon's New Testament and Book of Psalms that was distributed to millions of World War II soldiers. Blue ones to the Navy, brown ones to the Army. And in the first page of this Gideon's New Testament and Book of Psalms, it has a dedication by Franklin D. Roosevelt, which said, "To the armed forces, as Commander-in-Chief, I take pleasure in commending the reading of the Bible to all who serve in the armed forces of the United States. Throughout the centuries, men of many faiths and diverse origins have found in the sacred book words of wisdom, counsel, and inspiration. It is a fountain of strength now and always, an aid in attaining the highest aspirations of the human soul. Very sincerely yours, Franklin D. Roosevelt." Could you imagine just 70 some odd years ago, the president passing out New Testaments and Book of Psalms to all the soldiers in the military? America has a unique history of faith, and it's important for us to remember this and how God intervened with miracles in American history.